WSIC weather sunny and hot today with a high of 95. The heat index going up to 100. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 73. More of the same tomorrow. Sunny and hot with a high of 95 and the heat index of 103. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
Good morning.
Enjoy that morning coffee with Justin Kazepis.
Hope, how we doing this morning?
You know, it was a little rough period there, but I'm getting my happiness back, and you're absolutely helping.
It's Good Morning LKN, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on WSIC.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mayor Woody Washam from Cornelius in the beautiful new studios of WSIC Radio on West Catawba Avenue. We're so proud to have this new business have a branch of their service here in our beautiful, wonderful town. And it's a pleasure for me to be with you today. And the topic of today is the town of Cornelius is whoever you want to ask in town, whatever citizen you want to ask, what is our top priority in the town of Cornelius? They're going to tell you it's transportation and roads. My goodness. I will promise you that that will be the answer that you will get. And today, we're so fortunate to have two experts in that particular field with us today. It's been a program I've been looking forward to for a long time. I know we have a lot of folks out there that will have questions, and you can ask your questions today by dialing 844-STUDIO-4. 844-STUDIO-4. There's no question too hard, and I bet you'll get an answer with this particular group that's with us today. We'll do our best, whether it's a local Cornelius question coming from our citizens or anywhere throughout the region. These guys will have an answer for you. And with me is Mr. Lou Raymond, who happens to be the chairperson of the Cornelius Transportation Advisory Board, a board that I put in place early in my term or reestablished early in my term because it is important that we have local citizens feeding into this process and providing us their ideas about how to correct some of our transportation challenges that we have here in town. Lou happens to be senior transportation engineer with a company by the name of Bolton and Mint. And he has served in this role as our Transportation Advisory Board Chairman for many years now, and he'll give you a little more information about that. Also, we have with us our Deputy Town Manager in Cornelius, Mr. Wayne Herron. You've heard from Wayne before on WSIC, I am sure. He has many, many years of experience in transportation topics and in town government. So he brings a wealth of knowledge and relationships that have really, really made a nice difference for the town of Cornelius. So welcome, Wayne.
Thank you.
And welcome, Lou.
Thank you, Mayor.
We're so glad to have you today. So let's jump in about, I guess probably with feet first, and let me go to Wayne and ask him about our transportation projects that are looming out there, our state transportation projects. I know I served 4 years on CRTPO, that's the Charlotte Regional Planning, what's the rest of it, Wayne?
Charlotte Regional
Transportation Planning Organization. Yes. Thank you. It's a mouthful, but we call it CRTPO around here. It's previous to that, it was our MPO. Mm-hmm. And that's really where the funding comes from our state projects, which bottom line is the critical part of it. And I think we've got in and around $600 million coming to this town over the next 5 to 7 years. And I am really excited about that. Many of us have worked hard to put that in place and make it happen. We've had some delays though, haven't we, Wayne?
Yes. And just to back up a little bit, in North Carolina, there's really two ways to fund a transportation project. You either get state/federal money or you use your local town money. So we always want to try to capitalize on using the state money as best we can and not penalizing or taxing our local citizens. So we are very fortunate that CRTPO and NCDOT have allocated, as you mentioned, $400 to $600 million for up to 13 projects. Now, I want to say that again, 13 projects that could solve our congestion and our traffic issues. The reason that that is so critical, and I've worked in North Carolina over 30 years, most jurisdictions get maybe 1 or 2 projects at a time. A big jurisdiction like Charlotte might have 10 or 12 or more, but it's unusual for a town the size of Cornelius to get 13. Now, I think one can say, well, we've had so few over the last 15 years, we deserve all 13 of these, and we do.
It's makeup, right?
It's makeup time. So as these 13 come online, citizens will start seeing orange barrels. They'll start feeling the pain of construction, but the relief that comes at the end of construction, it will be unlike something we've never seen before with the capacity and the congestion management that we'll have as the next 4 to 5 years come around.
But it's been a real journey. It really has. It started with the changing of the process many years ago. And as I entered in my experience as an elected official back in 2013, became part of CRTPO at that time, it was just beginning a new process. Tell us a little bit about that, Wayne.
So 15, 20 years ago, there was a process in North Carolina, and I hate to put a tag on it, but a lot of people called it the good old boy process. Basically, you went in and you just begged for your project, and you hoped you had the right relationships, and you just hoped DOT would think you're important enough to put you high enough in the ranking system. But about 15 years ago, DOT switched to a data-driven process, and that has helped us immensely, and that's one of the reasons we have the 13 projects, because several of the criteria in the data-driven process are they look at the congestion, they look at the air quality, they look at the safety, they look at how many cars can move, and that's what's pushed us to the top of the game. I really think if we had not had the budget woes that we had in 2019, where there was almost a full stop statewide, I think we would already have some projects delivered, but clearly that data-driven process has been to our benefit, and that's helped us get these 13 projects in. We have scored very well on these projects, and we do well under the data-driven process.
That's fantastic. And Lou Raymond, the chairman of our Transportation Advisory Board, how do you feel about that? You work a lot with DOT in your day-to-day job, don't you?
Absolutely. Yes, been an engineer and certified planner here in North Carolina for close to 30 years, and been working a large part for the public sector, especially with the NCDOT, and have definitely seen the projects move forward in pre-construction. However, as Wayne mentioned, August 2019 and the last few years have definitely slowed down some of the progress that was currently already happening on all those projects within our town. And of course, it's unfortunate, but they still have been moving forward, especially as of late. And it's exciting to see that. And as part of being on the Citizens Appointed Transportation Advisory Board, and it's a citizens committee, and we have now we've added up to, I think it's 8 members. We've been fortunate to have monthly meetings, and in the last 6 months, when we started receiving updates about the NCDOT projects here in town, we started to talk a little bit further about maybe some of the needs that the town could maybe take a local lead on. And we started meeting, and Wayne presented all the great background information about how we've gotten here as a town and with the DOT, and also there's, as you probably see around town, some development projects that will also bring some other road improvements. And so it's been great that the TAB has been able to look at additional town-led projects that Cornelius can do in order to add on to what the DOT is doing.
All right. Lou Raymond and Wayne Herron here with About Town. I'm Mayor Woody Washam, and we'll be right back
with the latest in your community, state, and nation. WSIC News Talk Now.
is your WSIC community calendar. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic Downtown Walking Tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Are you a movie lover? Statesville's Parks and Rec Department will be having their Movies in the Park series on Friday, July 28th. They will be playing Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Seating opens at 8 o'clock and the movie will begin at 8:45. Refreshments will be available. Everything is $1. Bring your blanket and lawn chairs and enjoy a movie in the park. For more info, visit statesvillenc.com. Do you enjoy making pottery? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius has Ceramics Open Studio. Select Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can become the clay artist you were always meant to be. You must register in person. For the full schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Grab your safety goggles for some mad science involving deadly cobras, irate Irishmen, and the occasional airship. Davidson community players will be presenting the Explorers Club on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays through July. For more information on showtimes and to buy your tickets, visit davidsoncommunityplayers.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Sunny and hot for today with a high near 96 and winds at around 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy for this evening with a low around 73. Friday looks sunny and hot again with a high near 96 and heat index values as high as 105 and winds at 8. Friday night looks partly cloudy with a low around 74. Saturday mostly sunny and hot with a high near 96. I'm Holly Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
If it touches your family, your schools, your city, or your safety, News Talk WSIC has it covered.
Grub Ferry Road near the intersection at Hollywood Drive will be closed while...
News Talk WSIC.
Check out WSIC's new website at WSICnews.com.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mayor Woody Washam, and we are back with About Town. And today we're about transportation, the top priority of our citizens, I think, in this region, but certainly we know for a fact it's a top priority for the citizens of Cornelius. Great projects coming our way, Wayne. Let's give a quick review of how these projects are looking, and you can rank them any way you would like, but let's talk through the reality of these things happen. I know we've got 7 funded projects out of these 13 that's coming our way. So start with those, and let's see what this is looking like for the town of Cornelius.
So we do have several funded projects, and they are moving now rather quickly. For years, we've been worried about delays, and costs going up. But I tell people now, even though the construction dates might be 24, you'll see utilities moving, which that's a good sign. You'll see some right-of-way being acquired. So let me talk about a few of those. The Hickory Street intersection, it will have a signal there. The DOT is currently acquiring right-of-way. The town is going to contribute about $3.4 million to that signal. So we are working with DOT on right-of-way acquisition and getting that signal laid out to help folks get out of Zion, to help folks get across from Hickory. So that'll be a great safety and congestion improvement. North Cross Drive extension, that will be a great north-south alternative if you want to stay off West Catawba. You won't see it much. It won't hurt traffic because it'll all be off the main line, but that construction will start within the next year. You'll see a roundabout there at Alexander Chase and the Alexander Farm project. DOT will start working on that probably in the next year.
So it will run from Westmoreland Road all the way over to Samfur eventually, right?
That's correct. Down where Rubbermaid is, coming out there at Samfur Road.
So, folks, you can now stay off of Catawba Avenue. We've
Yes.
given you a vehicle to do that. It's a very important project.
The next one is Torrance Chapel. While we're still working with DOT on what the final scope of that project will be with some possible roundabouts, there will be significant intersection improvements with a dedicated lane going on 77 southbound. So a lot of people now that go to Charlotte or will go southbound will be able to get in that dedicated lane without having to get into two lanes that go across the diverging diamond. There'll also be significant improvement out at 1 Norman that Chick-fil-A paid for. So we're happy that our corporate citizens are contributing and being part of our solution. We also have the Highway 21 Catawba dual roundabouts. There's already utility work going on there. You'll see some improvements there that will help with congestion at that intersection. And then up at Pot Street, you already see right-of-way work going on for a roundabout and improved pedestrian and bicycle improvements under the railroad bridge. So all of those projects have already started and are going on now. So happy to have those started. The big one that hasn't started is West Catawba widening. And we're still acquiring right-of-way, working with DOT, but we're very fortunate that that's on the list. It's fully funded. DOT is looking for ways to reduce costs, but it's still there and it's still moving.
Well, my assessment is that once a project is approved and funded, that's the hard part. The next phase is the purchase of the right-of-way,
That's correct.
which is well underway. That's when you can really say a project has begun. Is that correct, Wayne?
That's correct. That's when DOT is spending what I consider the big dollars. Real estate is very expensive, as anybody knows today. So negotiating with property owners, buying the correct right-of-way, buying what's necessary to widen the road, that's a big step. And once DOT acquires that, I think, yes, you can say that project has started.
So we have started West Catawba, folks, and that warms my heart to hear that. The next phase of any of our projects will be the movement of the utilities after the right-of-way. Is that correct?
That is correct. Once DOT certifies the right-of-way, they take those right-of-way plans to all the utility companies, and they're allowed to negotiate with them about schedules for moving. And sometimes there's a necessary sequence. Maybe the water and sewer has to move first. Usually AT&T and some of the communication people are the last to move, but we try to work with all of them to get the right-of-way, the right conduits, the right locations. It's a big job if you know everything that's in a right-of-way. So certainly that's the big second step, is moving those utilities.
It is, and it's often a little bit of a slow step because there's not much control that we have, and the state statutes give the utilities a lot of rights, don't they?
That's true. You know, we need all of these utility companies. They serve us greatly, but moving poles and sometimes moving lines is not the highest thing on their priority list. Of course, serving their customers is number one, but we try to emphasize the importance of serving all citizens and the need to move these utilities. So we try to work well with them. We try to keep good relationships, and hopefully they'll move them as quickly as possible.
Great. Well, let's throw our number out there in case anybody has any questions that's listening today. And that would be, call us and ask us whatever's on your mind related to transportation. And that would be 844-STUDIO-4, 844-STUDIO-4. Now, traveling on from West Catawba with our projects, what comes next at the state level?
So after the utilities have been moved, the state will do a final plan that they'll put out for bid. And they'll hope the bids come in lower than the estimated cost or as close to it as possible. And the one thing they're doing different now that we didn't have pre-pandemic is when they let a contract for a construction company, they're actually giving them an extra 6 months to start. And the reason for that is supply chain issues. We're still having some issues getting pipe, getting conduit. So they're trying to give the contractors a little bit more flexibility of when they get started. and just trying to work with them also to get better pricing. If we don't demand they start right away, sometimes they'll give us a better price if we give them a little bit more time to get the pipe and the conduit and the materials. So that's the big last step. And then it's managing the project and working with the contractor and working with citizens to get around while all that construction is going on.
So what's the town's role? I know this is DOT doing these projects. What's the town's role in managing these projects?
Well, the first big role is that it's different from years past. DOT used to fund things 100%. So up front, the new role is if we want to keep a project moving, all jurisdictions statewide have to contribute maybe 20-25% to keep the project funded. So we're doing that. Cornelius has pledged up to $37 million to keep our projects rolling. So that's a local commitment. Then beyond that, we work very closely with DOT staff on acquisition of right-of-way if they need assistance, working with utilities to help be a middleman to manage that process. And then during construction, specifically, they'll work with us to get the word out, what's happening daily. Where do citizens need to take detours? Where areas do citizens need to avoid because there's construction that day? I know a lot of us remember the construction on the DDI, and it was painful certain days. So we want to be able to get the word out that, hey, if you live down Torrance Chapel, maybe go down to Westmoreland today. Or if you live down at Robbins Park, maybe today's the day to take Sam Fur and not come up toward Westmoreland. So we'll work with DOT to find out what's going on a daily basis, try to steer people in the right direction, and try to do the best we can to make people's quality of life the best we can during this construction process.
It'll be major, and you'll see the town communicating quite a bit along the way.
Yes.
We believe in that. We have the resources to do it. So pay attention.
Yes.
We're all praying for those orange barrels to
Yes.
show up. So what comes behind or in and around West Catawba in terms of other funded projects?
So around West Catawba, and I'll start on the south end, the improvements to Sam Fur Road, and these affect almost everybody in Cornelius because Highway 73 goes all the way from the Cornelius western limits all the way to our eastern limits. So we'll work with citizens. Luckily, all three sections of Highway 73 are scheduled to start in 28, 29. So we're going to keep people informed, let them know what's going on. We have residents on both ends. Coming up West Catawba, I think the first thing you're going to see in the interim is we're going to be working on some pedestrian crossings. We'll be talking to the town board about that to improve safety with pedestrians in the interim, and then we'll work with DOT on the ultimate pedestrian crossings with the project. And then I also think you'll see you see the work with Alexander Farm. It's moving along quite a bit. They are actually contributing and doing a lot of work to both Westmoreland and West Catawba. So they'll be doing that at the same time. And then as you come further up, we'll have projects that are on either side. One is a town-funded project, Jatan-Sefton. This is one that the DOT was not eligible for state funding, but the town said it's important enough. We're going to be taking that on ourselves to improve traffic, congestion, pedestrian, and bicycle. So you're going to see a lot of big improvements to Jatan-Sefton over the next year.
Critical thoroughfare in our town,
Yes.
and it is an alternative to West Catawba Avenue, which makes it important. So we're going to fund that project. It's been voted upon. It's in progress. It's coming out of the engineering phases now.
Yes.
And we'll be getting some costs together for Jatan-Sefton, correct?
Yes. Matter of fact, right now it's out to bid, so we hope to get some good bids from contractors. We'll bring those back to the town board probably in the next month, and hopefully get that one under construction here in the next little bit.
That is totally exciting. Call us with your questions at 844-STUDIO-4. It's all about transportation on About Town today. We appreciate you listening, and I have with me my guest, Wayne Herron, Deputy Town Manager in Cornelius, and Lou Raymond, the Chairman of Cornelius Transportation Advisory Board. So we will be back momentarily and got a lot more great information. You will learn something today.
Local and North Carolina news now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC. News Talk Now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. The Iredell Community Outreach Association is seeking the community's support to help stock its food pantry. Yesterday, the nonprofit was forced to temporarily close its food pantry located at 833 North Center Street in Statesville due to the inability to stock it. You can help by donating non-perishable foods so the group can reopen the community food pantry soon. You can help by donating non-perishable foods so the group can reopen the community food pantry soon. And 18 developers have applied to transform several acres of land in downtown Cary. It's been almost 2 months since leaders first announced they were looking for a firm to bring a mixed-use development to the heart of town. Kane Realty, the developers behind North Hills Mall, and Hines, the developers behind Fenton, are just 2 of the 18 applicants hoping to get their hands on the land. Now sports with Joe Berg.
The LA Angels have taken star player Shohei Ohtani off of the trade block and have decided to become buyers at the trade deadline. And last night, Team USA in the Netherlands played to a 1-1 draw in the Women's World Cup.
Sunny and hot today, the high 95 with a heat index of 100. Partly cloudy tonight, the low 73. More sun and continued hot tomorrow, 95 for the high with a heat index of 103. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee, located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Many of you probably know us from our large coffee house downtown, but did you know we're also the owners of Statesville's first and only coffee roasting facility? We purchase coffee beans from around the world, bring them right here to Statesville, roast them in our facility for our customers around the region. Why would you go to a grocery store, purchase old coffee beans off the shelf, or any other source where you can have fresh roasted beans at Lake Mountain Coffee, 131 West Broad Street in Statesville.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions. It's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-613-8053. 800-613-8053. 800-613-8053. That's 800-613.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Dobie from North Main Financial Group. We're blessed at North Main Financial Group that most of our clients come to us by referral. When folks have a good experience with us, they share that good experience with their friends, family, and colleagues. In doing so, when we're sitting with folks, then we're looking at their financial plan and seeing if it aligns with their goals and their desires for what yet lies ahead, be it college, be it retirement, or be it estate planning. If that sounds of interest to you, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com.
You know Randy Marion is the king of price on new vehicles, but we're also the king of price, king of selection on pre-owned vehicles. 2018, 2019, 2020's special buy Chevrolet Equinox starting at $11,880. That's right, $11,880. These are Equinoxes, off-lease purchase. We've got a huge selection, all-wheel drive. You pick the color, drive it home today. Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. Again, you know where we are. Look for that spinning car, folks, because that is where the deals are.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Go beyond the headlines. WSIC News Talk Now. Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
Have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Good morning, folks. We're back with you. It's About Town and About Transportation today with Deputy Manager Wayne Herron and Cornelius Transportation Advisory Board Chairman Lou Raymond. So we're sort of walking through the projects, and I think we were alluding to the fact that once those orange barrels show up, folks are going to absolutely need to get a little patience in the process, right, Wayne?
That's correct. And if we only had one or two projects, we might be able to steer people to areas where they could move around easier in town. Having up to 7 at one time, we're going to have to pay attention, we're going to have to watch, and we're going to have to be patient. But again, what I always say is when those orange barrels, when those projects are done, it's going to be a wonderful day. It's going to be a wonderful world. But in the interim, the town's going to do the best we can to get information out to our citizens. DOT is going to be putting information out. It'll be a daily barrage of information out of which way is the best way to go, which way might be easier, where will the orange barrels be, which lanes will be closed. If you're going to Charlotte, it might be better to go down to 73. If you're headed downtown, it might be better to do this. We'll get as much information out as we can to help people in their daily lives.
Great. Call us with your questions at 844-STUDIO-4, 844-STUDIO-4. Now, let's move along with some of the other state projects, and I do want to get to some of the local priorities that we have just established, I think, here in our town to intermingle with these great state projects.
So some of the other projects that we have on the list from DOT that will benefit our area, one is the I-77 shoulder lanes, and we are very hopeful that that can be something to help people get from exit to exit and be a better opportunity to get from, say, 25 to 28 or 28 to 30. So that's something that we're looking at and hoping will come along.
What's the schedule predicted on that?
Right now, that is projected to start next year in 2024. Now, of course, they won't do all of them at once. They'll be doing segments. We're not sure which one they'll start on, but of course, we would love the segments closer to Cornelius. So we're going to be lobbying for that. So certainly that's something coming up that we're excited about. Probably the next biggest project is we're looking at widening of 21 and Bailey Road extension. Highway 21 is a critical artery. It's a north-south artery. Certainly sections of it are already widened, such as down at 25 in Huntersville around Target, but we need to get the section from Target up to 21. That section that includes 131 Main, Tenders, and on up through there. If we can get that widened, that would be a significant link in our transportation.
So we're excited about the new Atrium Hospital arriving here in Cornelius at the corner of Westmoreland and Highway 21.
Yes.
Very soon. That project's supposed to be complete in 24, so I hear. So,
yeah, they are moving rapidly, and we're so excited because they bring the wherewithal to make a project happen. And not only are we getting world-class hospital to serve our citizens, they are required to do a lot of road improvements with their construction. So we are very happy that they will be completing an intersection down on the south end at the new Bailey Road extension. They'll be making intersection improvements at Westmoreland and 21. Those are improvements that we as the town and DOT don't have to pay for. So we're very thankful that Atrium is coming in, spending those dollars, making those improvements, and doing them about as fast or faster than what we could ever have it done or DOT could ever have it done.
So one of the other pieces of good news about that project is Atrium will be working with our town to try to justify and encourage the state of North Carolina as well as the Federal Department of Transportation to allow us and actually build Exit 27. So what do you think our chances are, Lou, of Exit 27? Is that realistic? I believe our advisory board would certainly support that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know the citizens on the tab would definitely, and we've talked about this in previous meetings and work sessions, have been fully supportive of an interchange there. And we realize that, there's still no funding for it as it's not one of the projects on DOT's list of funded, but we realize Atrium could be a game changer and be the impetus for an interchange there, which we know that we have a lot of NCDOT projects, and that would be an important one to really provide an alternative to the DDI or exit 25. So it would definitely improve access to our community.
We're going to be working hard for that. It's going to take some political influence and maybe some work with the Department of Commerce as well as Department of Transportation, right, Wayne?
That's correct. Department of Commerce has a lot of funding that they can provide larger projects that create an economic benefit for our state. And so we are certainly hoping that the siting of Atrium at Westmoreland and 21 will be a significant, and we know it's a significant economic generator. There'll be another 100 acres of development around Atrium. Atrium sees the need for an interchange at Westmoreland. The one positive thing that I will say about that interchange, because I hear from a lot of citizens, well, I like Westmoreland the way it is. I like to be able to get across without an interchange. Well, we've really got two projects planned. We've got exit 27 and interchange at Westmoreland, but on the south end of Atrium, we're proposing another flyover. So there will be a way to get over the interstate without having to have an interchange. So Atrium is just doing so much positive and bringing so much change to us that will benefit our community, and their influence is very similar to the town's influence. Put us together, I just see only positive things for exit 27 in the future.
That's fantastic. And let me ask you this before we move along with our projects. People perceive that Cornelius is growing at some tremendously high rate of population increase. And we do have traffic, we do have gridlock. Where is all this traffic coming from? Is it really growth in Cornelius, or where's the impact coming from of what we're dealing with in traffic levels here in our town?
Well, people have perceptions, but I look at the data on a daily basis, and what I see from the traffic impact studies on some of these developments that come through is that, one, our population, matter of fact, in the last two updates from State Budget Office, we've actually gone down a little bit. So we're not really growing in population. The last CMS study said we were growing at about 0.6, 0.6%. So we're not really adding population. We're not really adding students to the schools. But yet, if you drive around, you're like, well, where are all these people coming from? Where are they going? There's a lot of people that come from Lincoln County going north to Iredell County. There's a lot of people that drive from Iredell going to Mecklenburg. Well, we have to let those people pass through. We don't have a choice. So there's a significant amount of traffic. And if you read between the lines in a lot of these traffic studies, over 50% of the traffic that is coming to Cornelius is pass-through traffic. Now, a lot of them are stopping at our restaurants, and we appreciate that. Certain communities don't have the same restaurants we do, and we appreciate those people coming to Cornelius and spending their tax dollars here. But it does create congestion that is not related to any type of development.
It's still a problem we need to solve,
Yes.
but really a 0.6% growth over. I think I had heard over last 24 months or so. Is that correct? Or
It actually goes back further than that. Now, we'll probably get an update here coming up. We've been getting new census numbers, but clearly at 0.6%, we're not creating the problem with population growth.
I got you. It's a tough thing to explain, but it's a reality.
Yes.
You got Mooresville growing like a weed.
Oh, yes.
You've got Huntersville approving a lot of projects down there, as well as you said the through traffic from Denver and Lincoln County. A lot of growth in Lincoln County as well. So, Mayor Woody Washam here, and I'm with Wayne Herron and Lou Raymond. And you're listening to About Town, and we're taking a quick break and be right back. Thanks for listening today.
Take your favorite WSIC shows with you anytime by going to WSIC News wherever you get your podcasts.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic downtown walking tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Are you a movie lover? Statesville's Parks and Rec Department will be having their Movies in the Park series on Friday, July 28th. They will be playing Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Seating opens at 8 o'clock and the movie will begin at 8:45. Refreshments will be available. Everything is $1. Bring your blanket and lawn chairs and enjoy a movie in the park. For more info, visit statesvillenc.com. Do you enjoy making pottery? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius has Ceramics Open Studio. Select Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can become the clay artist you were always meant to be. You must register in person. For the full schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Grab your safety goggles for some mad science involving deadly cobras, irate Irishmen, and the occasional airship. Davidson community players will be presenting the Explorers Club on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays through July. For more information on show times and to buy your tickets, visit davidsoncommunityplayers.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on Events to submit your event today.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Sunny and hot for today with a high near 96 and winds at around 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy for this evening with a low around 73. Friday looks sunny and hot again with a high near 96 and heat index values as high as 105 and winds at 8. Friday night looks partly cloudy with a low around 74. Saturday mostly sunny and hot with a high near 96. I'm Holly Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
Grow in your faith with biblical teaching from the Word of God. Listen to Pastor Steve Pope from Calvary Baptist Church, Sunday mornings at 9 here on News Talk WSIC, or listen on demand at WSICnews.com.
The #1 news station for Lake Norman and Statesville. News Talk WSIC.
Hey everyone, this is Robert Carey from America's #1 travel radio show. Join Mary and me and Rudy each Saturday as we cover the ever-evolving world of travel, talk with newsmakers, share compelling experiences, and explore the world together during the fastest 2 hours in travel on RM World Travel.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mayor Woody Washam from Cornelius, back with you on About Town, talking about transportation today with Deputy Manager Wayne Herron and Transportation Advisory Board Chairman Lou Raymond. So welcome back, gentlemen, and we have pretty much touched on the major projects that are going on at the state level. But it's a priority for me, and I think it's a priority for the Transportation Advisory Board, Lou, to do some things quickly to move along the process of reducing some of the pain related to traffic in our community. So is that a true statement? I know that the Transportation Advisory Board that I have had the honor of meeting with you guys the last few times have set a new list of priorities for really hot spots that we really need to take a look at and see how we can make a quick difference here in town. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally true, Mayor. The TAB in the last couple of months had several work sessions to identify what could be town-led projects that would be in addition or additive to the NCDOT projects already in development. And the 3 corridors where we saw the greatest needs were the Bailey Road corridor, the Westmoreland Road corridor, and the Catawba Avenue corridor. And we have looked at those independent of funding, but we knew that we had to come up with a list of needs that the town, could take on, and we did that within those 3 quarters. And one logical next step was the development of the mayor's task force on implementation and funding, because as we all know and just mentioned, construction's the biggest part of a transportation project. And you can do all the work on analyzing and developing, the plans for what you're going to do, but if you can't fund it for right away utilities and construction, the project may not get built. So that's an important next step, and I'm going to be glad to be a part of that here going forward, as I think that's definitely imperative that the task force looks at how we implement these projects and we fund them.
Well, that was a very important step in my mind, and a great follow-up to the prioritization process that Transportation Advisory Board put in place for the areas that you just talked about. So we're moving this task force forward. We've got some great folks that will be participating. This is an all-star group of folks that can truly make things happen. Anytime you instigate a group of citizens at this level, you're going to see some progress. You're going to see some progress politically, and you're going to see some progress, in actual terms of figuring this out. We've got financial people on there that understand funding mechanisms that maybe the town hadn't even thought about. It's going to take a combination of a lot of things, maybe tax increases, maybe new bond referendums, maybe state programs that we haven't heard about, and maybe grants. So, my expectation is that we can move this quickly and make a difference in relation to that. And that is a very, very much top priority for me that will kick off here in the next few weeks. So very excited about that. And I'm looking forward to working with my co-chairman, who will be Mr. Jim Engel, who's the former chairman of Aquesta Bank here in Cornelius, and certainly gets that financing piece of things and a long list of other superstars here in our community. So very excited about the mayor's task force on transportation, implementation, and funding. So off we go with that. So what are some specific projects in town, Lou, that we're looking at? I guess we should start with talking about some of the studies that the town board has recently implemented to maybe move some local things forward. Maybe I should turn to Wayne and let you tell us, just touch on those items.
Well, we appreciate the work that the Transportation Advisory Board has done. It has really helped us identify and prioritize what we should be looking at with town funding. The first one that I think you'll see, we just sent out a request for proposals to engineers, is that Zion Avenue connector. We think that as the 115 report said from several years ago, and had a great citizen committee that prepared that study, Zion Avenue connector is a great value added benefit that we could look at to relieve congestion and help with traffic on the east side. So we have an engineer looking at the feasibility, looking at some alternative routes, and we'll be looking at how that works with and how we can improve mitigation with Huff High School, Bailey Middle School, and the whole Bailey Road issue. So that falls right into that Bailey Road corridor that the Transportation Advisory Board talked about. So that's number one. That's one that we're starting to look at right now.
So we put our money in the right place there,
Yes.
And fortunately the town board passed that.
Yes.
And we're well underway. Let's talk a little bit about our downtown. A lot of folks are concerned about some congestion downtown with some of the proposed projects, as well as maybe some of the growth that folks could anticipate over in Antiquity. How do you guys feel about the impact of any of the growth projects that we're looking at now, or the ones that have been approved that may come? Either one of you kick in on that one, Wayne or Lou.
Well, I know I'm real proud of the town center that we have and established the boundaries for that. And one thing the tab looked at was some of the pedestrian crossings in that area. And this we even looked at, I would say, about a year ago. And we were fortunate enough come up with recommendations that the town board funded for improvements, and that's some of the improvements you see there along East Catawba Avenue, right in front near Town Hall and in front of Town Hall. So excited to see some of the additional foot traffic in our downtown.
Great. I think we've got a phone call, so put him on. Who am I talking to here? Is this William?
Hey, Woody, this is William. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you, sir. What's your question today?
You got a couple gentlemen talking to you today about the transportation, and I had talked to you a few weeks ago about the toll roads on I-77, and none of the revenue that's collected from that is coming back local because
Right.
it was farmed out
Yes, sir.
by a foreign company. My question is that this may be a roundabout way of looking at things, but if they were to pass legalization of marijuana use in the state of North Carolina, like a lot of states have done across the union, would we see any of those funds that are accumulated from that would help pay for projects coming up for transportation? I know it doesn't really pertain to transportation, but I'm just trying to figure out other ways to come up with funding for our state and keep it local.
Sure, William. It's a good question. Wayne, how about taking that one on? I think you can.
Yeah, right now there's been no discussion at the state legislature about any concept like what you're describing. There have been a lot of discussions between senators. Now, one thing we're fortunate, Senator Vicky Sawyer from Mooresville represents a portion
Right.
of Cornelius, and she is chair of the Senate Transportation Committee. So she has been talking with Senate leadership about some different proposals for funding beyond the gas tax. And she's looked at several options. Right now, there's no bills introduced, so we don't see any options right now, but I know she continues to talk, she continues to work, and certainly I think she's got all things on the table.
I think it sums up to say to you, William, that it's a work in process. There's been a great first step.
Yeah, I know it doesn't really pertain to transportation.
Right.
It's just another way, another avenue possibly to get some funding in North Carolina, keep it local or whatever. Kind of like when they passed the lottery education. It was supposed to be for schools. Now, how much of that funding goes back into the school system, I don't really know. Some of it does, I would imagine, but it is a lot of revenue created with the lottery. So the marijuana end of it would create a lot of funding.
Could use all the help we could get there with the funding piece of it. Thanks for calling today, William. Call back anytime. Good talking to you.
All right, take care. Thanks.
So, as we have moved through our stories on transportation here, there's a lot going on. I think we can summarize it at that. A lot going on in our town, from trying to figure out better ways to do a whole variety of things. This isn't about transportation, but I'm going to change the tone just a little bit because I've received a number of calls that we might want to address while you're here, Wayne, relating to our water quality in Lake Norman. We're a town of 75 miles of shoreline, and I'm concerned about it. Citizens are concerned about it. What's your take on all of that, and what can we do about it to make it better?
Well, certainly Mecklenburg County is on top of this, and Commissioner Elaine Powell, who represents District 1, is also very concerned. She's very much into environmental protection. So she's been working with the county department that handles this, and they are putting out information through all the local public information officers, communication managers that, hey, we're trying to improve the sewer situation. We're trying to look at aged infrastructure, what work's going on in our neighborhoods. But also, if you'll just call them, they're willing to come out and look at algae situations, hydrilla situations. They'll look at anything environmental, tell you what you might need to do, and also be willing to put out warnings to the public.
We're a lot more to come on water quality. But today I want to express my thanks to the two gentlemen that are, in my opinion, the best experts we have on transportation in the town. Mr. Wayne Herron, Deputy Town Manager, and Lou Raymond, our Chair of the Transportation Advisory Board. Thank you for being with us. If you have additional questions, feel free to email me. Glad to have you today on About Town. Mayor Woody Washam We'll see you next week, next Thursday at 11 o'clock with another great program on About Town.